Alright, sorry guys, I had a recording malfunction, so you didn't get to see the start of what was going on. Basically, I wanted to start our spring tillage and planting on March 1st, game time, and it ended up that it snowed like the second half of January and all of February, so today, on the 4th day of March here, is the first day we could actually get out to the field. So what's happened so far, since I had my recording malfunction there, was we've got the tractor and disc over in the first field that we ripped and limed. He's disking over there. We also have the rock picker over there. We started picking some rocks. It's sitting and waiting for that tractor and disc to get out of the way. We have moved the tractor and drill and the truck and seed tender over to the field to get ready to start drilling wheat. We have the Alice Chalmers 8010 with a bush hog over here in this rice field that we can't seem to get to grow. He's bush hogging it so that we can till it, and I'm in the International 4788 with field cultivator cultivating the bean field to get ready to start planting corn next month. So let's go ahead and get this fired back up, get course play set, because this is the other 13-acre field, or 13 hectare field. Basically same size as that big field in the back. So not really big field, 34 some acres. Not a real big field, but anyway, let's get this fired up, get a course play set, so he can get running here. It's gonna be just a little while until he gets done bush hogging. Once he gets done bush hogging that field, he's gonna jump in this field over here behind us and have him bush hog that. That was a rice field that got cut last year, so it should have gotten bush hogged last year. I just didn't do it, so we'll do that as soon as he gets done with this one. And it's gonna take a little while for the tractor and disc to finish up that field over there so that we can finish picking rock, and then we can take the tractor disc over to the other field. So let's go ahead and do this. One tool, 4 headlands. Probably not. I do 3. And we're gonna do a 1-row skip. Because this cultivator is wide enough, we shouldn't have a problem turning if we skip over the one. Originally, I'm pretty sure I had the 4788 hooked to the case ripper, and it wouldn't pull it very well. It wouldn't stay locked in a gear. Like the Massey Ferguson, it was constantly shifting up and down. Couldn't keep a constant speed, which is why I bought the Steiger and put the Steiger on the case. So we bought the John Deere mulcher and put behind the Massey Ferguson. And then this tractor, we just put on the cultivator. So, alright, looks like we're gonna have to turn around and head her back the other way. Alright, we'll get the maybe. And it says he's blocked by an object. So hopefully we don't have that problem with this tractor, or else it's really gonna suck. because we won't be able to use Courseplay with this tractor. I have, and it may not be the tractor, it may be the implement, it may be this chisel plow. Because I ran into this on another save or another game with the John Deere. I want to say it was the 8R. I had it set up with saddle tank and hooked to a planter, and it would do the same thing. When it would get to the end or a corner, when it was running Courseplay, it would say that the helper's blocked by, an object, which obviously it wasn't. It just didn't want to turn the corner. So let's see what it does. You just kind of have to hit Courseplay on and then let it run, see what it does here. Hopefully it was just something weird with that corner up there and it's not an issue. Hopefully. If it is, then I will have to run the headlands myself. Yeah, see, blocked by an object. And obviously there's nothing there. So let's set GPS. What the heck? That's not gonna do us any good. So we're gonna have to do this the old school way. So I'm gonna run the first headland for the first lap around. And then we will, well, I'm gonna run through this corner and then I'll turn Courseplay back on again. See what it does. I cut that corner a little bit short. We're gonna go ahead and kick Courseplay back on. There's the tractor and disc going. See what this does. I'm gonna get up here this other corner. I'm gonna say that it's gonna do the same thing again. I honestly don't know how to fix it. Don't know how to correct that issue. I've only ever ran into it a couple of times. Like I said, with the 8R and pulling. I want to say I was running one of the modded Kinsey planters. But it may have been one of the modded John Deere, or yeah, one of the modded John Deere planters. I don't remember. It doesn't matter which I was running, honestly. I just know that whenever you came to a corner, and every once in a while the 8R, even on a straight run after the headlands were done, it would get to the end where it needed to turn, and again, it would say that it would help her to block by an object. Which, again, obviously, you're out in the middle of an open field. There's nothing blocking it, but kind of goes back to those memes about Farm Sim, Helper A is stopped for no reason. I wish that you could actually set up a map that you could actually hire those stinking crop dusters to come in and actually crop dust for you, but hey, look at that, we're blocked by an object again. Like I said, I don't know why it wants to be that way, but we'll get around the corners here. We'll get into this second lap here and see if it keeps doing it. And then if it does, we'll try the third. If it does it on the third, we'll try one up and down pass. If it does it on the up and down pass, then we'll just take courseplay off and just turn on the AI helper and deal with the consequences of the AI helper. But I guess with this acting the way that it's acting, buys us a little bit of time. Oh, look at that. We're blocked. Blocked again. Uh-oh. Better. That part of it could have been my fault because of where I decided to start course play. So I don't know if it's something in the way I have the settings set or what. So I don't seem to have problems with 99% of the vehicles I use and that I set course play up for, but with a few, I do have an issue. So it is what it is. Most of the time, I just find a different piece of equipment to use. With as tight as funds are right now, and I really like this old International 4 drive just because there wasn't that many of them built. It's kind of a cool piece of history. You don't see them very often, and I wanted one on my farm. So, and honestly, in real life, this tractor would not, more than likely, not pull this field cultivator, and not because this tractor doesn't have the horsepower. It's because this tractor is super light in comparison to as far as tractors go. This tractor, I believe, is right around 350 horse. And you know what? Before I stick my foot in my mouth, we're going to do this the smart way. And I'm actually just going to pull up tractor data here. Because I want to say I know what the weight of this tractor is. But there again, I don't want to stick my foot in my mouth and be completely wrong. He turned the corner that time. Well, we have well, yeah, that was weird. Let's see. International Harvester. This is the 4788. 4780. 4786, maybe. 4786. Yeah, really? That was freaking weird. 7788, there it is. No, that's not what this is. What did I say it was a. Yeah, it is 7788. Anyway, so International Harvester 7788. It was only built for 2 years, 1982 to 1984. And they only built two of them. So literally, but it was built by Steiger. Reran it anyway. It was through that whole weird era where Steiger was building 4-wheel drives for themselves as well as International and Case International. Case International, well, it was actually Case at the time. didn't become Case International until J.I. Case bought International Harvester, became Case International. They also bought Steiger, etc. But anyway, 13.1 liter, 8-cylinder International Harvester diesel, 20-speed transmission, blah blah blah. 330 engine horse, 265 PTO horse, wheelbase height. Okay, so weight was 21,550 pounds. I was gonna say 18, so see, I would have been off. But 330 horse, so it has more than enough to pull this. Weight's gonna be the issue. So 21,550 pounds. So just let's go to a Case International, and then what would be a 9170, which would be the same time frame, 86 to 90. There again, built by Steiger, but owned by Case, or yeah, by Case International. It's 335 horse, 29,000 pounds as opposed to 21, so it's 8,000 pounds heavier. 7,500 technically. And then if you go to, let's go a little bit more modern, let's go with one of the STX series. STX 330. Let's see here. Yeah, 32,295 pounds. So it's 11,000 pounds heavier. So, and that's what the problem is with these old tractors like this. It's not that they didn't have the horsepower, which they didn't for the most part back in this era. I mean, for this time frame, this tractor was huge. I mean, at this point in time when this tractor was built, a lot of farmers were still using two-wheel drives. I mean, they weren't even using too many manual four-wheel drives at this point. And four-wheel drives are pretty well unheard of. Only like the biggest of big farms really used four-wheel drives. They didn't. Most small family farms that had no use for a tractor this big, even though by today's standards this thing's really small. And the implements were a lot smaller. So, and that's the problem is with these older tractors like this, they were light. The Versatiles were the same way. They had the power, but they didn't have the weight. So when they were pulling out across the ground, excuse me, you get into a hard spot or anything like that in the ground, and the tractor couldn't efficiently put that power to the ground, and the tractor would literally just start popping up and down and not really going anywhere. So, and of course, this is a problem because if you can't pull the implement, then all the power in the world doesn't do you any good if you can't get it to the ground. So that's why we see that as time has progressed, tractors have gotten longer, wider, but mostly heavier. Goodness, got a frog in my throat today. And that's about getting that power more efficiently to the ground. It also helps with the ride, heavier weight. The tractor doesn't bounce near as much. So it's a little bit better of a ride, a little bit less operator fatigue. But for the most part, it's about getting the power efficiently to the ground. Oh, but it doesn't look like Cultivate is going to work with this setup. There's two things that I can do. The first is put a different tractor on the field cultivator. See if it still does it. And then put this tractor on a different piece of equipment. Unfortunately, with this tractor, I don't have anything else to put it on. Kind of where my head's at right now is swapping this tractor with a Massey Ferguson. Fortunately, I want to say the Massey, they are actually really close to the same horsepower, so it shouldn't matter. Only problem is I won't get to test this tractor on the river until this fall. But let's go ahead. We're just gonna pull this tractor. I think I'm out of the field. Yeah. So let's go ahead and try it. Yeah, my barn's empty. The sheep shed's empty. I actually think this tractor's got a little bit more horsepower, but I think it's 350 instead of 330. But it doesn't matter. Apparently, this multi-tiller only requires 190 horse, which makes 0 sense. Tiller's not gonna matter anyway, horsepower wise. Well, I mean, I guess theoretically, I could hook International up to the river and take it over to that field that's already ripped, and then see what it does. Hit that very square. And just see what it does. And hopefully this works out for us. So, because I really want to keep that International, and I hate just to leave it around the farm as a piece to look at. But unfortunately, with me farming, you know, okay, apparently I didn't clear the course from last time. Alright. Alright. So we'll jump into 3 here. Where's that? Ah, crap, wrong button. Alright, we'll see what this tractor does. when it gets to the corner. But hopefully swapping them will fix the problem. Because I hate to have the international just sitting around looking pretty, you know. I guess park it out in front of the farm as a yard ornament, but I hate to have a tractor that I don't use, and there's no piece of equipment that I can think of off the top of my head that I typically use manually that I don't use horseplay for, that I could use it in place of. Because of what I was saying earlier is playing by myself and not having anybody else on here with me. I will use horseplay a lot because, as you can tell, we got multiple operations going on in multiple fields. So, and that's just way too much going on for me to do by myself, because you guys probably haven't been able to tell yet, but with the seasons, I have it set up for 7 days for a month. If I did every operation by myself, I would have to set that to like at least double, just because it would take so long to do everything. It would just be ridiculous. So we'll wait till this tractor gets up here, makes this corner, which I think he's gonna make it without a problem. So we'll jump in the back in the 7788, go hook up to the mulch tiller, take it over to, yeah, see, he just made that corner, no problem. So at this point, I'm thinking that it's the tractor, not the implement. I could be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time that I've been wrong. Um, we'll just have to wait and see. So, but I'm hoping I can put it on the ripper and on the mulch tiller, and it'd be okay. Because, I mean, my only option at this point would be to park this tractor out in front of the house as a yard ornament for now, and then I'm gonna have to buy another tractor, which honestly, if I'm gonna do that, I'm probably gonna pull that 2+2 off of those gravity wagons and put that 2+2 on this mulch ripper. Alright, I know the bridge is here somewhere. There it is. Well, smoother. Quite a bit smoother, actually. It's super rough. I'm gonna set this up down here where we're gonna go into this corner first. Man, I really hope this works. Alright, set up horseplay. 4.9, I don't know why. 1, 3, 4, skip. It doesn't matter for a moment. I hate swapping tractors like this because We're already blocked by an object. Well, son of a... That sucks. That really sucks. So it's this tractor. I mean, we might be able to find another implement that it would work with. Maybe. Yeah, screw it, I'm gonna drive through the machine shed. We might be able to find another piece of equipment that would work with. Maybe. I don't know. Actually, you know what? I'll drop that there. That's 4788, but 4786, whatever. 7488. On the 2+2. And I think the 7488's got enough power. I can't remember if it's in medium or large. Yeah, 7488. Yeah, it's 235 horse. So it's got more than enough power. Pull this. And this is another one of those tractors that pretty rare. The whole international 2+2. You don't see them very often. They didn't go over very well. Whenever I used to go to Wisconsin quite a bit, I saw quite a few of them in Wisconsin. They're actually fairly popular in Wisconsin. They were made with chopping, pull behind choppers in mind. But they were built big enough with enough horsepower, being able to set them up duals, stuff like that, to do tillage work, planting, stuff like that. But what I noticed in Wisconsin is that, again, like I said, they seem to be popular in Wisconsin. And that's what they do with the Wisconsin is they pull behind choppers with them for the most part. But there again, it's something that it's a really cool tractor, a really cool piece of history. And this is probably overkill for these gravity wagons, but I don't have anything else I can do with this tractor, so at least for the time being, I'll wait, see if something comes up later. I don't know. Because we got the 1586 on the smaller fare, hopper bottom, or hopper bottoms, gravity wagons. My brain's kind of all over the place tonight. Go check on the tractor and disc. But yeah, I've always been fascinated with the 2+2s. And they're kind of one of those things that I want on my farm. Just because they're a really neat piece of history. They're cool. They're unique. Kind of fun. I have never gotten to drive one. I've been in a couple. Kind of like the old International 4 drives. I have seen a couple. I've been in a couple. Never got the chance to drive one. Operate one. This is actually one of my favorite series of tractors right here. The 71 series. 71s, 72s, and 89s. It's the same tractor, just different series depending on the year. Awesome tractors. I've operated several different ones over the years. 7110, 7130s, and 7250. Great tractors. Great tractors. Hard to beat. It's kind of like the. I'm not as big a fan of the 91 series articulated four-wheel drives. 92s are a little bit better. 93s, that 93 series articulated four-wheel drives that from Case were awesome. Great. The next series that it would be the STX series, which are again awesome. Then you got into the newer Steiger series. Good tractors. I still prefer the STXs and the 93 series. The cabs aren't quite as luxurious. The XTXs are really nice. The 93 series not as much. But the big thing I like about them is their pre-emissions. Now, a lot of the earlier Tigers, when they went to switch to the emissions, at this point in time, most of those have been deleted, and they don't have the emission stuff on them anymore, so they don't have those problems. But that was my big problem with when they came out, was all the tier 3, tier 4 emission stuff, and they just had a lot of problems. Again, the manual four drive tractors, 71, 72, 89 series, and then the early MX series, when they still had the Cummins power plants in them. They're freaking phenomenal tractors. Absolutely love them. And I really like the Pumas. Super awesome tractors. When I was helping out around farms up in North Dakota, the farmer that I was, or not North Dakota, South Dakota, I apologize. The farmer whose farm that I was helping her on, he was a John Deere guy. Now, he farmed a massive amount of land, absolutely massive amount of land. And he had tractors from the 60s all the way up to like brand new that year, and ranging in size from, if I remember right, he had a 4020. Matter of fact, I know he had a 4020. So 90 horse, I think what the 4020s were, rated out with 90, all the way up to 600 horse articulated four-wheel drives. I mean, and he had, oh my gosh, 4, 5 articulated four-wheel drives, as well as 2 combines. And I don't know the John Deeres very well. I'm not a big John Deere guy, so I don't know them very well. They're nice, but I haven't ever been that big of a John Deere guy. Other than the 4020s, for whatever reason, I love the 4020. The new tractors are really nice. His were, I don't remember what his articulated four-wheel drives were, and I know I'm going to get it wrong. I'm going to have to actually look it up because I'm going to get the model wrong. So backtrack to that, we go. I want to say 96 9600 series. But I don't think that's right, because I want to say that's combines. And I know his combines weren't 9600. They were way newer than that. John Deere's numbers are way too hard to deal with. Oh, I was right. Yeah, they were 9600s. Yeah, 9600s. So 530 horse. And actually, I wanted to say that they were newer than the 9600. So maybe than the 9500. Anyway, it was the 95 or 9600 series articulated wheel drives. And I want to say, it's been a couple years since I talked to him. At the time I was there, they were all wheeled. He didn't have any tracked four drives, because at the time I was there, the case still had the patent on the quad track, so John Deere wasn't building them yet. I want to state that he actually has a couple of the John Deere track now, as well as wheeled. So I want to say I know his drill tractor, both of his drill tractors. He has, at the time I was there, he had 2 drill tractors that were articulated four-wheel drives, because every piece of equipment has its own tractor on his farm. And he had, I want to say, both of his air seeders were 60 footers. I don't remember, but I want to say they're both 60 footers. And then his planting tractors, he had 2 planting tractors. He had an 8400 manual four drive with front duals and rear triples with saddle tanks. Excuse me. That pulled. It was a John Deere DB90, I believe. It was a 36 row. And then he had whatever the next series manual forward drive was after that, pulling a 48 row DB series planter. Last time I talked to him, I think he'd replaced both of his planters with newer planters and replaced the tractors as well. And I want to say that one planting tractor was an 8R, and then the other one was an articulated four-wheel drive. So one was a manual four-wheel drive and one was articulated four-wheel drive. But that's been years ago. Now, the neighbor across, well, down the way, I say across the street, but across the street where we were in South Dakota was probably 10 miles away. It was the closest neighbor. He farmed Case International. And my brother was actually really good friends. He went to school with one of the guys, that family. So he was over there quite a bit. I spent some time over there with him and got to drive a little bit of their equipment. And they're the ones that had the 71s and the 89 series articulated manual four drive tractors. They also had a 9130, a 9380, an STX, one of the newer Steigers. I want to say it was a Steiger 380, which all of us that I didn't get to drive any of the articulated four-wheel drives, but I rode in them with him a couple times. But everybody liked the 93 better than that Steiger. And again, this was right after they switched to the emission stuff, and nobody had deletes for them or anything like that yet. So there were all the emissions and stuff like that. And they liked the 93 better just because they felt like it had more power and was able to put it to the ground better. They also had a Puma, which they really liked. And if I remember right, they planted with the Puma. They used the 9380 and the 9130 for tillage. And then they had Magnum 380. I want to say it was a Magnum 380 that they planted with. The Steiger 380 they drilled with. And then I want to say that they had an 8950 or an 8940 that pulled a small auger cart. More like a backup or a filler, because the big auger cart they pulled with, it was another articulated full drive. I think they pulled, it may have been the 91. It could have been the 93, but I don't think so. It's that, guys, that was, oh my god, that was probably almost 15 years ago, 12 years ago. So that was a long time ago. I honestly don't rightly remember. It was a long time ago though. So, and they farmed quite a bit of land, and ran quite a bit of cattle. Not near as much as the other farmer that I actually helped out for, that had a John Deere. He farmed at the time. He owned roughly 10,000 acres that he farmed, and he leased anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000 more that he farmed. Again, just a few years ago, I talked to him, and I think he actually owned at that time around 16,000 to 18,000, and was still leasing anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000 a year that he farmed. And it's crazy too, because he's probably around 75, maybe a little bit older, and it's him and his two sons and one helper that farm all of that. So it's crazy. But I mean, it was a lot of fun with that, because everything he has is paid for. I mean, absolutely everything's paid for. Which is also why he has tractors from the 60s, is because those are literally the tractors that he started out with, and he farmed with those tractors up until the early 2000s. I mean, those tractors have anywhere from 15 to 25,000 hours on it. I mean, it is just insane. And some of them even more than that. But basically, the way that he did it was he bought those tractors used, and he farmed them, and instead of buying new equipment, he bought only the equipment that he needed, bought it used, paid for it, and kept that equipment. So he didn't go out buying equipment. He would buy land, and then he would pay for that land. And pay for that land, and pay for that land, and pay for that land. And just kept buying land and paying for it. Where all of his land was paid for, and up in the early to mid 2000s, he had, 10,000 acres, 10,000 acres that was paid for. His equipment was paid for, and that's when he started buying newer and bigger equipment and just paying for it outright. So, but I know, and I'm gonna get it wrong because I don't know John Deere, but he buys new combines, and the biggest combines that John Deere make, and he buys them new combines every 2 years. now at this point. So, alright, well, we got this field done. Move this tractor over to the other field, get it started rolling through. The bush hog's done up in the other field. I'm gonna say it's bush hog. There's no way that the chisel plow's done. But I'm gonna get this tractor started in this field across the way here. That's not the bridge. It probably wouldn't hurt to put another bridge over there, but then I'll jump into move the bush hog over so we can start bush hogging. And then while those are running, I'm gonna step away real quick, see if I can get something to drink, get this frog out of my throat so you guys don't have to listen to me coughing constantly. But it's annoying for me to listen to it. I can't imagine what it sounds like coming through the mic. But earlier when I was talking about the grain trains, and you guys bear with me because my brain's kind of weird and it jumps around a lot. But what I was talking about with the grain trains, and for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, is it's a semi with generally a 48-foot hopper bottom trailer, and then a dolly, and then usually a 30-foot hopper bottom trailer behind it. And we call them grain trains. And like I said, you don't see them anywhere. And the reason why you don't see them is because in most states it's not legal to run them. That's also why you don't see a lot of double trailers. So even like the UPS and FedEx, you see those little 35-foot trailers. In a lot of places they pull tandems, so they'll pull two of those together. Oops, wrong button. But they're not legal in all states. And then you also have turnpike doubles, which, dang it, hit the wrong button again. I'm talking instead of getting distracted instead of focusing on what I'm doing here. Excuse me. There, I hit the right button. Okay. Anyway, so those are tandems or doubles, and it's two 35-foot trailers. And then you have turnpike doubles, which really the only place that you see these, the only place that they're legal is in the Kansas Turnpike. And I want to say you can run them on the Oklahoma Turnpike, but I'm not positive. I know you can in Kansas. But it is two 53-foot trailers. And like I said, the only place I know of that's legal to run them is Kansas, and on the Turnpike only. Maybe Oklahoma. And then you see in Utah, you will actually see triples. So it's three 35-foot trailers, or three 35-foot trailers in their boxes. Or you'll see, sometimes you'll see, well, that's a weird old bump in the middle of the field. We're gonna have to flatten that out. Have a random bump in the field. A 53-foot trailer with a 35-foot trailer. You don't see that near as often, but that was dumb of me. Now I'm gonna have to bring the ripper up here and rip this. I wasn't thinking about that. I should have softened instead of flattened. But anyway, now I have to bring the ripper up and rip that so it's field again. But anyway, yeah. In Utah, sometimes you'll see the 35 or a 53 foot with a 35 foot behind it. Now, in South Dakota, I don't know about North Dakota. I think it's legal in North Dakota too. You'll see the grain trains. I said it's typically a 48 foot hopper bottom with a 30 foot hopper bottom behind it. And I want to say, again, it's been 12, 15 years. But I want to say that the gross weight on those is 130,000 pounds, I think is what you can gross. So you can haul a lot of grain that way. And that's how that farmer that I helped out, that's how he did it. Was whenever he was hauling grain, was he had grain train. It's actually two of them. The one that I had the most fun with was he had I want to say it was a 98. Yeah, I think it was a 98. It might have been a 99. Peterbilt 379, and this is way too much truck for what he did with it. But anyways, it was a 98 or 99 Peterbilt 379, long wheelbase truck with 3406E cat, an 18 speed, and it was what the mechanic tell me, like almost 650 horse. I mean, it was insane. I mean, insane. Like to the point that the thing, it would literally be loaded at 130,000 pounds. Would you could start at the bottom of a steep hill at 30 mile an hour, and in the mile when you got to the top of it, be doing 90 at 130,000 pounds. It was just insane. That was a fun truck. I really like that. But all right, guys. Let me. We'll drop you guys over here with the cultivator, and I'm going to go get something to drink. See if I can get this frog out of my throat. So you guys don't have to listen to me sit here coughing. So I will be back in just a few minutes. Alright guys, I'm back. So, let's go over, check on the disc. I honestly didn't expect to have any problems here. Check on the mower, on the old bush hog. He's bush hogging along. We're gonna jump down here. Alright. And we're gonna go back to picking rocks. And rock picking is a weird concept to me, because where I grew up, you didn't pick rocks. You didn't roll rocks. You didn't pick them. I mean, we really didn't have any rock. That all changed when I moved to South Dakota, and that's where I was introduced to rock picking and rock rolling. It's kind of a different atmosphere than I was used to, because up there where we were, they had a ton of just like granite rock, anywhere from, you know, the size of your thumbnail all the way up to freaking like boulders. I mean, things were, you know, the size of a football or bigger, and it's just like the stupid thing who just grow every year. You'd go through, you pick them in the spring after tillage, you know, plant, and then we would have to go back and roll the wheat and the bean ground. A lot of times we wouldn't roll the wheat ground, but bean ground we would always roll. And then that next spring we would be out there with the rock picker again, and it's like we just, I mean, and again, football size freaking granite rock. This like insane. And again, now that I'm back where I grew up, you don't rock pick, you don't roll rock, and we just don't have that much rock here, depending on where you're at. And areas where there are rock, they're, for the most part, they're really small, and they don't mess with them. I mean, they don't, like I said, they just don't mess with them. They don't pick them, they don't roll them, they don't do anything with them. Like I said, they're all really small. Most of the guys, they run rock traps in their combines, but other than that, it just, you don't run into them. Which there again, South Dakota, we grew corn, wheat, and soybeans. That's what you grew. And up there, we grew short season corn, because it got it just the growing season up there was so stinking short. And even with the short season corn, there would be a lot of times that it would be it would snow on us, and we were done. We just, at least for a little while, depending on how much it snowed, we'd just be done. There were several times that it snowed so much that we had to wait till spring for all the snow to melt before we could even finish picking corn. And of course, lost quite a bit to pheasant eating it, as well as snow knocking the ears down on the ground and not being able to pick them up. But I mean, I don't know how many times we'd be out there, snow would come through, and a couple days later we'd be out there in the combines and 8-10 inches of freaking snow on the ground picking corn. So, and it up there, it's a weird area anyway. Is it hadn't rained in a month, whatever, the ground would be perfectly dry. You'd be out there, and even on a hilltop, just be out there running out across the ground, and just all of a sudden out of nowhere, just a freaking mud hole, and just sink your equipment, just right then and there. It was just insane. So, which I haven't been up there in probably 10 years, 8 years, something like that. Because when I was up there, there was a lot of sloughs, is what they call them. But they're basically anywhere from ponds to lakes. And I mean, they just came up all over the place. I mean, it was so bad that you'd be like on a county road or whatever, and the road would literally drive right into a freaking lake. And the road would still be there, come up on the other side. It's just freaking water came up and stayed, and where it used to be a county road was now a lake. It made for a really nice place to put a boat in and go fishing. But last I talked to some of the people I know from up there a few years ago, because pheasant hunting up there was absolutely insane. I mean, literally, you kick them up, and I mean, there was a couple times we kicked them up, and then so many took off, it literally blacked out the sun. I mean, it was just like a black cloud. It's just insane. But last time I talked to anybody from up there, basically all the sloughs had dried up and were gone, which decimated the pheasant population, because they didn't have any place to live, more or less. But all those areas, farmers worked them up and they're farming them now. Those areas were farmed before all those sloughs formed. And I'm assuming at some point, again, they'll reflood again, and there'll be sloughs again, but it was just really weird to see it. Like I said, you'd be driving down a county road, and then all of a sudden the road was just gone. I mean, it was literally a lake. So it was wild. You had to learn where all these sloughs were, or else if you weren't careful, you'd end up getting stuck somewhere. You get down some of them, and there's no place to turn around. In anything of any size, a car or a pickup, you'd be all right. But if you were down there in one of the 18-wheelers or a 10-wheeler or a tractor or whatever, you were stuck. You couldn't turn around. Which, there again, at one of those South Dakota things, of course, everything's on a grid, generally a 1 mile by 1 mile grid. And those county roads, of course, were all gravel for the most part. And especially during harvest season, you had to pay attention, because those friggin' hopper bottoms be running from the field to the farm and back. And they'd be going down them gravel roads, freaking 80 or 90 mile an hour. It was just nuts. Which, there's nobody around out there. I mean, it's all farm country. I mean, literally all farm country. I mean, you could drive for 80 or 100 miles before you come to the next town. I mean, where that farm was, the closest town was I want to say it was 8 miles. And when I say town, it was literally a grain elevator, 2 bars, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I think the entire population of that town was like 200. The actual closest big town was 45 miles away, which is where the ethanol plant, one of the ethanol plants was there, and there were probably 3 grain elevators. That's where the John Deere and Case dealerships were. Walmart, grocery stores, that's where it was. It was pretty good size. I want to say it was 45,000 people. I'm gonna look like a jackass. I'm gonna have to look it up. I honestly don't remember, because that's actually where I live. But I don't remember what the population is. Ah, crap. That'll teach me not to pay attention. Oh, crap. You ran a long way. I was hoping I could just back up, but we went too far. $23,000 in 2024. So I was close. I said 35. I was only 11,000 off. So, and actually, at the time I lived there, it was probably less, but it doesn't matter. Small. And we're just gonna leave that running, because it's not gonna take very long, and I'll have this thing filled back up again. So. Going forward, I may have to run three passes on the headlane, so I got a little more room to turn around. Oh, just picking rocks, picking rocks. I wish I could have the radio on when I was in the tractor here working. Last time I did that, YouTube wouldn't let me upload my videos because of copyright infringement. Even though it was internet radio, apparently I can't post videos with the music in it because of copyright infringement. So, no radio. A pretty good hunk of rocks right there. Which, after we empty this one more time, we'll probably go so just do a hired helper in this. Because we're gonna have to take the dump truck and empty it. We're 58%, I think is what it was. So, a big hunk of rocks. So, we won't be able to get a fourth emptied in there without leaving some in a rock picker. So, we'll just take the dump truck back at the farm, because of course that first load the rock picker wasn't full. I was hoping we were going to be able to empty the 4 full from the rock picker, but we're cutting that tight. I guess it's a good thing I didn't put duals on this tractor. We wouldn't be able to make that corner. We're definitely gonna have to do three headlands, so we got enough room to turn around. We still got quite a ways. We may go ahead and set up. We got quite a ways left to go across this field, so we'll go ahead and do, once we get down here to this other end, we'll go ahead and set up, go back around this one more time, which we're going to end up filling up the rock picker on that path, but it is what it is. We'll just deal with it. But that also means we won't be able to put a hired helper in, because he won't have any idea what we're doing. And if we set it up force plate, he'll end up running over stuff that we've already rock picked, and it'll just be a waste of piece of fuel and time and money. So don't want to do that. So we'll just deal with it and go on. I normally try to run 3 headlands. But it just depends on the equipment size and what I'm pulling it with. So I'm pulling it with a tractor like this, and sometimes you can get away with 2. Obviously with this piece of equipment, it's gonna take 3. With the articulated tractor, generally it's 4. Now you can make it smaller. It just depends on the implement. So if we're pulling like a big planter or a big field cultivator or a big air drill, then normally you can actually get by with 2 and have more than enough room to turn around. Same thing goes for even like a manual 4-drive tractor. If you're pulling a wide planter, because you two headlands and they give you more than enough room to turn around. So, but the narrower the equipment, the more headlands you're gonna have to do, so that you got that extra room to turn around. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to jinx myself, but we might accidentally, maybe, finish this third headland without having to empty out. Watch, and because I said that, I'm gonna jinx myself and I'm gonna get freaking 10 feet from the other end and hit a massive thing of freaking rock and fill this thing up. Ooh, 95. I think we'll make it. Barely, but we're gonna make it. That should give us enough room to turn. So we'll see. We'll see once we get back in this tractor after the hired helper runs it for a little while. Because after we go empty the dump truck and bring it back, we'll have to jump over to the talking and wasn't paying attention. That's too far to run. We'll have to jump over to the tractor and field cultivator. Clean up those field edges a little bit. And then move him to the next field. Alright, let him take off. 91%. We'll run this over. Farm. Dump it off in the rock crusher. Bigger than I thought it was. It'd be great if I could actually adjust his mirrors where I could see out of them to actually back up. Alright, start making some lime. We'll use it this fall. Hopefully we can produce enough lime that we don't have to buy any this year. I don't know if we'll get that lucky or not, but alright. I should pick the rocks out of all these fields. But I'm not going to. I'll just roll soybean ground. I'll just roll the soybeans. The wheat, I'm going to have the rock picked off of anyway. the rest of these fields should go quite a bit faster cultivating. Figure out what order we're gonna go in. I think we'll go back to that field behind us first, and then we'll come around, hit this field to our left, then the one top left, and then the one straight in front of us. Tractor and bush hog, we're actually done with this field here pretty quick. It'll just keep us doing it that way. It'll keep bouncing around quite as much. They're gonna bounce around some, but maybe not as much. And also, I can get into this field without having to pull the field cultivator. Technically, I could probably get all the way around this without building the field cultivator, but it's also gonna put quite a bit of stress on the field cultivator. But anyway. Well, crap. And for this culvert, I'd be able to. Man, forget to clear that last course. I think we got everything set up pretty good. Alright, I'm gonna get him rolling on. I'm trying to get dipping that right there. The cultivator's doing alright. We'll have to see what the drill and the planter do. We may have to smooth this a little bit. Can't see anything with all that dust back there. And what are you? And this is why I don't like hired helpers. And that's the reason I use course play, is hired helpers are, well, pretty well worthless. Yeah, he's halfway done. I don't know about him. I don't know what side he actually started up and down on. But if it's like the other one, he's still got a lot more to go. Which we still got a little bit. Probably a little bit of rock picking to do. Before we can even get the tractor and drill in this field. Yeah, that's quite a bit better. Now, whenever I set this up to run in course play, because of the short tongue and those arms being so close to the rear tires, I'll set it up to do a row skip, give it a little bit more room. But since I'm the one running it, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not going to worry about row skipping since I'm doing it all myself anyway. Actually, with as long as this video is going already, probably what I'm going to do is when we get done picking rocks in this field, I'm probably going to end the video. And then I'll do another video. I'll go ahead and move the tractor and rock picker over to the other side. Just gonna prep some stuff, and then I'll probably start a new video, the next video, and running the drilling wheat in this field. And then while that it's drilling, once the tractor and disc get done on the other side, we can pick rocks over there, and then keep cultivating and pulling the chisel plow. Finish bush hogging and all that stuff. So, oh, somebody's out of fuel. I don't know who's out of fuel. It's gotta be the tractor and bush hog. Gotta be. I don't think. I don't think there's any way the tractor and disc is out. Well, let's jump over. Oh no. Yeah. Tractor and bush hog, and he doesn't have enough fuel to get done. Apparently, this tractor's not very fuel efficient. Oh yeah, I was gonna set this up to do a row skip, wasn't I? And I forgot. Okay, well here, let's. Go ahead and kill this horse. I'll go ahead and go spin this around. I don't know why I'm jockeying this tractor, it doesn't matter. And then I do a 1. Go ahead and do 4 and 1. Which I think it's going the other way. I honestly don't know. No, because that's the end. I think this one's an up. I probably shouldn't have done that. Now I'm lost. Alright, well this one goes that way. This will be okay. Before I start him, we'll have to put some fuel in him, but I'm not gonna worry about that right now. And he's not hurting anybody. Waiting on him. Oh, we're gonna go ahead and get finished picking rocks so that we can end this video. Probably keep my videos under 2 hours. Just otherwise it's just ridiculous. I mean, I could record a 8-hour video sitting here running, but it would just be a long video. So we're gonna probably keep it under 2 hours. Unfortunately, an hour, you can't really do much in an hour. I might, maybe, at some point, do, like a compilation type thing, just the different stages. I don't know, it depends on how froggy I'm feeling. That's a lot of editing. And it takes a long time to edit, video, just because my system, let's see how, my system's about 10 years old. Yeah, about 10 years old. And granted, it was a really nice system when I built it. I've got a i7 9700K, 32 gigs, DDR4, and 2080 Super. So I mean, it's still, I can still play high-end games and stuff. But when it comes to stuff like the video editing and stuff, it takes a while. Not only because I'm fairly new at it, so it takes me a while to do the editing, but the actual processing and the output of it takes quite a while for my system to be complete. So it just kind of depends on how froggy I'm feeling. And it may be something that I work on over time. I want to try to keep it, I don't know, fairly short. 15 to 30 minutes, I'm gonna say. It just depends on how in depth with the stages I want to get. It's something I'm gonna have to think about, because when do I start? You know, do I want to start fall, where I'm liming and ripping cornfields, or do I want to start in the spring, where I'm cultivating, picking rocks, and drilling, planting, and then summer, spraying weeds, fall harvest. That's probably what I'll do. Actually, that makes more sense. Come to think about it, start in the spring, and then end in the fall. It makes more sense. Which I'll end up having to do another one too later once we grow the farm. And then we get into other crops. So, because of course to start with, it's going to be wheat, soybeans, corn. So I'll end up having to add rice and cotton and peanuts and potatoes and I don't harvest sorghum, but whenever I have cattle, when I have livestock, I chop sorghum. I chop it for cattle feed. So you will see me grow sorghum. If you keep watching, whenever we get cattle, you'll see me plant sorghum, and that's to chop for silage. I don't actually harvest it to sell. I chop it. Generally don't chop corn, but it kind of depends. It really depends. Sometimes I'll actually do both. Depends on how much silage I need, how much chaff I need, and how big my fields are. Occasionally I will plant sorghum, and then if I need more, I will get into a cornfield and maybe just chop the headlands off. And I know that's kind of weird to say, and it's actually, I don't remember now where I've seen it. Goes up in places that have a lot of cattle farms, especially dairy farms, like Wisconsin, places in Indiana, stuff like that. And they chop the entire field for silage. But there was somewhere, I want to say it was northern Missouri, southern Iowa. I thought it was really weird when I saw it, but they go in and they chop the headlands. Of course, when it's green, they'll chop the headlands, and then they'll leave the rest. And they'll go back and pick what they left. And I always wondered why, and I actually talked to somebody that did it, and they do it especially, sorry about that, they do it especially in years where it's been really wet, really rainy, because by pulling those headlands off, it opens your inner rows up and lets more air move through the inner rows and helps dry the ground out. So maneuver. Ow! I don't know how much. I don't know how much lime we're gonna end up getting. It helps if you turn it on, dummy. There we go. It helps if you turn it on, dummy. So I don't know how much time we're gonna end up getting. I honestly haven't worked it out as far as pieces of stone to pounds of lime you get. I just dump the stupid stones into a rock, dump it into the lime crusher, and yeah, I should really skip rows. I just dump it into the lime crusher, and when I need lime, you get it out, or if I get enough rock in there that it gets full, I'll empty out some of it and put it in a bin. Which I'm gonna say it'll be a long time until we're pulling enough rocks off in one season to fill the lime crusher up, where we're actually gonna have to empty it. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. In some of my other games, I don't have that problem. I mean, per se, I end up getting enough rock that if the rock crusher's full, I end up having to stockpile the rock around the rock crusher But the rock crusher doesn't ever. I don't ever keep it full because I ended up, putting it in a flap trailer and then using it all up in the fall, or most of it up in the fall. So in between putting it in the flap trailer and then refilling the silo, bin, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't. The rock doesn't stay stockpiled there for very long, or the lime station, lime crusher, whatever, stone crusher, rock crusher, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't stay full for very long. But most of my other maps that I have played on, do play on, whatever. I have multiple farms on them because there's open areas or actual farms already there that I buy and build and whatever. So I have multiple rock crushers in multiple places, as well as multiple lime silos. So I don't have that problem because I have plenty of places to store it and use it. But on this map, this is the first time I played this map. You guys are playing this map with me. This is the first time. So I haven't really explored the map much beyond where we're at. But just looking at the actual map, screen, it looks like this is really the only viable place for a farm, which is why I built the farm where I did. There may be some other places possibly build a farm. We'll just have to explore and see, but they're not, number one, they're not near as big as this area. And for my main farm, I like a nice big area. I generally prefer my farm to be central, so in the middle of the map somewhere. So it's nice even distance to go everywhere, or close to even distance to get everywhere. It did not happen that way on this map. So I'm in the bottom corner. It's going to take a long time once we start farming. We're in the southeast corner, so whenever we start farming up in that northeast corner, it's going to take a long time to pull equipment all the way up there. So as we start moving across the map, let's keep our eye open. We may just end up having to take a field and turning it into a farm. Just because it may be worth it to lose that farmland rather than constantly having to move equipment from literally one corner of the map to the other. We'll end up leaving, equipment down at this farm to farm this half of the map, and then building another farm up on the other side to farm the other half of the map. Normally that's the way I do it anyway. Sometimes I have 2, maybe 3 farms, sometimes more. And these are row crop farms. I also generally have 1 cattle farm, or 1 livestock farm as well. But it really depends on the map. Now, another map by this modder, and like I said, this is a private map, and it's in the description and in my YouTube. But this is a private map. I had to pay for this map to get it. as well as a couple of the pieces of equipment, again, in the description. But another map from this modder is Orin, Missouri. And I want to say almost 900 hours on that map. And the reason why I hate buying mods, I hate paying for mods, just because it's not that I don't want to support somebody else's work. It's that, how do I explain this and not sound like a total douche? If it's a free mod and there's things that I don't like about it, if there's problems with it, and this tractor, it's a mod. This is modeled very well. The only thing that I don't like about this tractor is the duals, the cable duals. I wish I had bolt-on duals, but as far as I know, this tractor was never offered in North America, which is why it doesn't have bolt-on duals. So that's not a problem with the mod. I mean, the mod is true to the actual tractor. So that's a me problem. That's definitely not a mod problem. But the 8010 Alice Chalmers, that the bush hog took to, perfect example. The exterior looks great, but if you notice when we are in the dash, like the dash is just blank. There's nothing there. There's spots where the gauges are supposed to be, but there's literally nothing there. But that was a free mod, and if it's free, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, the dash isn't there. It's a nice model, nice little tractor. It fits with my, starting farmer, 70s, 80s, 90s equipment. So, and it's free mod. Whatever. I mean, it's just some gauges. But if I pay for a mod, then I expect it to be perfect. You know what I mean? So if there's a problem with it, I actually am a little upset about it. And I don't know. It's just, that's why I don't like paying for mods. It's because I don't want to be upset with anybody. And I'm also the kind of person that if there's a problem with the mod, most of the time I'll keep using it anyways. If it's a bad enough problem, or it annoys me enough, or whatever, then I won't use the mod. And if I paid for it, that upsets me even more. But these guys and girls, they work really hard on these mods, and I want to support them, but at the same time, I don't want to be disappointed in the mod, and I don't want to be that person that goes in and is constantly nitpicking about a mod. So, because there is one of the mods, and you'll see it, and I don't know if it's a problem on my end or it's a problem with the mod, but one of the mods there's a problem with. But the reason that, roundabout freaking way, the reason all this started, the reason that I bought this map and the other map, the Orin, Missouri map, is because I wanted peanuts. I wanted to be able to farm peanuts. I always wanted to farm peanuts, I guess. So that's the reason I bought it. And like I said, Orin, Missouri, is from the same modder, and I have almost 900 hours on that map. And on that map, I have 3 farms. So I've got one that's was my starter farm, where I started at originally, which is in like the bottom half but center, and that's my main farm. And then up in the northeast corner, I have a cattle farm. And then just a little bit south of that, I have another farm that is a row crop farm. but it also, on top of being a row crop farm, it also produces the feed for my cattle farm. So, I'm trying to think. I can't remember the name of the other map. I think it's Midwest Horizon. I'm pretty sure it is Midwest Horizon. Because on my Twitch, whenever I don't stream like co-op very often, but when I do Farm Sim co-op, that's the map that we have. It's Midwest Horizon. That's the one where we co-op on. But on my game, my solo game, I have probably, I think about 600 hours on that map. And I have my main farm, which again, it's on like the north quarter, but in the center. I got my main farm, another farm, and a cattle farm. So yeah, I mean, two row crop farms and a cattle farm. So that's pretty average for me to have 2 farms and a cattle farm. I think that I want to say that this is a 4x map, and I think Orrin, Missouri is a 4x map too, because Orrin and this map are the same size, and yeah. So because oh, see, wasn't paying attention again and got overly full, and I'm not gonna go back to the straight line. I was gonna have to turn around. But to get to where I'm going with my rambling, I gotta have the map open. So let's get this thing lined back out. There we go. Okay. So in Orrin, like my original farm is would be right about here. And then yeah, right about here. And then town on that map's like right here. And then my cattle farms like all the way up here, and the other row crop farms like down here. So and then on Midwest Horizon, like my main farm is like right there. My cattle farm is like literally like right up the road, right there. And then my other farm's way down here. So yeah, like I said, it's but on both of those maps, even though I have a lot of hours on them, I don't own even and I own maybe a third of the fields on the map. Midwest Horizon, I own I'm gonna say Midwest Horizon, I own probably close to 3/8 of the fields on the map. I own quite a bit more of the map on Midwest Horizon. And I think it's a 4x map too. Now, I think I do have I want to say it's a North Dakota map. It's a North or a South Dakota. I think it's a North Dakota map. And I think it's an 8x map. It might be a 16x map. I don't know. I honestly don't remember. I don't know that I've ever even played it. I don't think so. I don't know that I've ever actually played it. Now on FS19, and man, that's been a long time ago. Because, well, if you notice, FS25 is out, and I'm still playing FS22, and I've done that with all of the FS since 17. Because I bought 11. I had 11. And then I bought 17 right when it came out. Like the day it came out, I bought it. And then after that, so with 19 and then 22, I waited for about 6 months after they came out on both of them before I bought them. 19, I didn't wait as long. I think I waited probably 3 months after it came out to buy it. And the reason why is because I prefer to farm American with American equipment. And even though, like, the more down the line that we get, so 17 was a little bit better than 11, 19 was a little bit better than 17, 22 is better than 19 as far as having, like, an American style map and American style equipment. They just can't compete with mods as far as American equipment goes. And it's not Giant's fault. I mean, they're a European country. They're around European equipment. They see European equipment. Everything that they model from is European equipment. So it's not Giants. It's just that's what they have available. I mean, that's what they're used to. Is what they have available. So it's nothing against them at all. It's just I prefer to wait those months to let modders get mods so that I can farm. Because if you notice, there isn't a single piece of vanilla equipment on my farm. Because even this rock picker is a mod. Because it's twice as wide. Even though it's the same, everything's the same as the vanilla one, it's actually twice as wide. The arms are twice as wide. I don't think I honestly don't think that I have a single piece of vanilla equipment on my farm. I would have to go through the store and see, but normally I'm thinking I don't use I take that back. I bought the Kubota DLC for this. Um it's because I kinda have a soft spot in my heart for Kubota. Um but I did buy the Kubota, so that's vanilla. 'Cause later in the game I'll actually end up owning at least one Kubota, if not more. Once we start buying like newer tractors. But that will be the only vanilla tractor that I buy. Will be the Kubotas. Let's actually just jump into the store real quick. Before I end this video. Okay, so those are obviously all mods. Small tractor. I the 3700 and the 4700. I buy modded versions. And with the 5S, I buy a modded version. None of these I buy. The Maxim, I don't either. Alright, so those two, well, the M5 I won't buy, but I may end up buying an M6. So everything else is, because there's the Maxim, and it's modded. And the reason why is, I'll show you. You see, I don't like the cable duals, which this one has the cable duals. So this tractor won't, if I buy one of these, because the vanilla version is the same way. Let's try changing tire brands. Yeah. I think it's the same way regardless of tire brands on the mod too. Yeah. So this mod can actually be removed. Because I downloaded it thinking that I had American style duels. The Vest, yeah, that's why I downloaded this Vespian series. And I downloaded this mod not to run it with duels, but as a baling tractor for a round baler, so I don't run duels on it anyway. And if I buy the Maxim, it's way too big anyway. For that. Because there's 5400 series, 5600, 3036, and then that's one of the 4700s. There's the 3700 and the 4700. And this track you can't run duels on anyway, but those are kind of a bad example. Again, it's the 4755. I've got a 4755 mod. And that's actually a perfect example. Right there. So, and the reason why is because of the front weights. Because we don't run 3 points on the front of our tractors in the US. Which, oddly enough, I actually saw one and see there's no option. Now, had they done an option to do suitcase weights in the front instead of the 3 point, instead of the 3 point, then it would have been no big deal. But that's obviously the European design of the 4755. I mean, we can go back here and look at the US version, and the steps are different, exhaust is different, radiator's different, and obviously the suitcase weights in the front are different. Duals are different. So this is hubs, and then American style fold-on duals. Which this European version actually has suitcase weights. So, and that the modder, and this is this is the US version tractor. I don't know why they call it a European version, but it whatever. Yeah. So, and then again, so those two, M7 and M8, what is I may run. I take that back. I will use the fast track, and I own a fast track, so the JCB, the 4220. That's the only other vanilla tractor that I use. And the reason why I use this is I pull the bale loader. I pull the bale loader with it, and the reason why is because that nice 37 mile an hour top speed. So it makes it quick running around. Which some of these other tractors have a high top speed too. So like that tractor is 37. That one's 31. But there's 8R. I don't know what that's was. That's weird. The Magnum AFS. I've got that mod. The NT700. I also have that. I have both of those. It's mod. Mod. So there's the 700. There's the AFS Connect. And then you get in, wide frames. There's 93 series Tigers, which you'll see later in the game when I start buying some other newer, bigger equipment, as well as the 93 series quad tracks, the STX series quad tracks, and wheeled, and then Challenger, some other Challenger tractors. I really like Challenger tractors. That's the tractor that I have problems with the planter or with Courseplay. Because unfortunately, like I said, I'm not a big John Deere fan. Um, but I really like this model. Like, I don't remember who did this mod. I honestly don't, but they did an awesome job on this mod. I really, really like the way this mod looks. Um, and all the features of it. And I wish I didn't have the problem with the Courseplay. And then, like I said, that again that could be my fault. I don't know. I've downloaded quite a few John Deere mods. Um, I keep saying that I'm going to expand my mind a little bit and get into some of the John Deere's. I never have. Other than on one of my games, I am running. Honestly, I don't know which one of these it is. But I am running one of the 8 RTs. Because I have it hooked to, and you won't see it on this because this is a row crop ready map, and I don't have any row crop ready planters that are that big. Um, but on I want to say it's Midwest Horizon. I have an 8 RT with saddle tanks on it that's pulling a John Deere DB 120 planter. Um, which is why I downloaded the 8 RT was for the saddle tanks because I tried to do saddle tanks on one of the Steigers or one of the Steigers. My God, one of the Challengers, but I don't think I can do it on the 800. And the 700, I think I can do it on, but the 700 is not big enough. I don't remember. It's been a while. I'd have to go back through and try to look. But anyway, so and then same thing with the trucks, very European. Now the Mac, of course, is these are American style trucks, but I'm not a Mac fan. I'm not a Volvo fan, even though this is an American style truck. I don't like Volvo. I do have these old Macs, but that's just kind of a throwback thing. Um, but you notice I'm not using the Mac. I got that one for the attacher. But since I downloaded that mod, I've downloaded others, which I'll show you here in a second. Because I have one of the international, what I'm using now. The Mac Green truck, I do have, and I do use the 10-wheeler. But since then, I've downloaded this 67 Peterbilt 359, which I own one of, and then the 77 Chevy, which I mine's the GMC 6000, but same difference. But Peterbilt 379 and Kenworth W9s and the T800. Those are the trucks that I use. Combines, I won't use any of the vanilla ones. Even though the vanilla ones aren't, there's nothing wrong with the vanilla ones. 7150, the Claw, 9250, even the X9. There's nothing wrong with them. Lexion. 7250, 82. You won't see me use the 7250, the 8250. I will use the 9250 at some point. I'll own one. But starting out, or this is what I run. I run a 2588 instead of a 23. And then the Lexion 480. Yeah, basically it's the same size, 2588. However, whenever I upgrade, at some point I will do the 9250. Whether I don't know if I'll do it or Lexion first. And the reason why I prefer the modded version over the vanilla is number one, there's a lot more choices. And honestly, yeah, a lot more track choices, stuff like that, because it'll be tracked. Blah 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 blah. Anyway. And grain tank extensions. So you got a freaking 700 bushel grain tank on that, which is what I'll end up running, 700 bushel, and you go with a 50-foot auger or 60-foot auger. Yeah, we'll end up running a 60-foot auger. And the reason why is because we'll run a 60-foot draper head. And then actually the next combine I buy will probably be one of the Coloss 670s would be my guess. I don't know. It depends. I've already got 2 combines. Just because the field size, it was taking way too long to harvest with just 1 combine. So I bought 2, so I got to harvest 2 fields at the same time instead of running together. But I'll probably end up running one of these 2 Lexions. Next. I don't even know. Forage harvester, I run that Coloss Jaguar. Don't use that. Oh, yeah. I will use, that will be vanilla if we do sugarcane. Cotton picker will be a mod. Most of the forestry equipment, if not all the forestry equipment, which I don't do any forestry on this map, on either one of these maps for the most part. But I will use the skidder and the excavator from the Platinum expansion. So those are vanilla-ish. So I guess there is some vanilla equipment I use. More so in the implements. Yeah, I mean, yeah, some of more so in the implements. Especially when it comes to the livestock stuff. Use a vanilla full vine. No, that's a mod. Never mind. I lied. I thought that was vanilla. It's not. So, yeah. I was thinking the sprayer I used vanilla. The roller's vanilla that I use. At least for now. Planters will not be because, as I said earlier, it's row crop ready. Or this is the row crop ready map. So I have to use a row crop ready planter. Which is what I have here. It is row crop ready. I want to say one of these is not row crop ready. I don't remember which one though. We'll just have to make the mistake of buying one and finding out the hard way. But anyway, we're dragging on with me rambling. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. We will pick back up after I move this equipment over to the other field and start raw picking in the other field and drilling wheat in this one. So thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you guys next time.